Robert Arthur Allison was an American professional stock car racing driver and owner. Allison was the founder of the Alabama Gang, a group of drivers based in Hueytown, Alabama, where there were abundant short tracks with high purses. Allison raced competitively in the NASCAR Cup Series from 1961 to 1988, while regularly competing in short track events throughout his career. He also raced in IndyCar, Trans Am, and Can-Am. Named one of NASCAR's 50 greatest drivers and a member of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. 1. He was the 1983 Winston Cup champion and won the Daytona 500 in 1978, 1982, and 1988. Early life. Allison was born December 3, 1937, in Miami, Florida. He entered his first race as a senior at Archbishop Curley Notre Dame High School in Miami. Since he was only 17, he had to have his parents' permission to compete. When his mother approved, Allison assumed it was permanent, but his mother believed it was for only one race. After he graduated from high school in 1955, Allison's mother thought she would derail his racing interest by sending him to Wisconsin to work for Mercury Outboard Motors, where her brother-in-law, Jimmy Hallett, was the national sales manager. Unbeknownst to her, the owner of Mercury was Carl Kiekhaefer, who also owned race cars. Allison began working as a mechanic and an engine tester. While employed at Mercury, Allison worked in the boat division for 10 months, then was transferred to the racing division. During the 2 months he worked in the racing division for Kiekhaefer, he went to 19 races, mostly Grand National, known as the NASCAR Cup Series as of 2020, and a few convertible races. Every one of those races was won by a Carl Kiekhaefer car from the shop in which he worked. Kiekhaefer was a hard person to work for and several people got fired, so Allison decided to go back to Miami only after a little over 2 months. In 1956, after returning to Miami, Allison started racing again, using a fictitious name, Bob Sunderman, to make the Sunday paper. His father encouraged him to race with honor and use his own name. In 1959, Allison and his brothers, Kenny Andrews and Gil Hearn, found lucrative racing in Montgomery Motor Speedway. They won several races, earning $400. They returned home and formed the Alabama Gang, earning modified special titles and 2 consecutive NASCAR National Modified Championships. Net worth. Bobby Allison is an American former professional stock car racing driver and owner who has a net worth of $5 million. NASCAR career. Bobby Allison, a Grand National Circuit driver, won 85 credited victories and 1 uncredited victory throughout his career. He won the Daytona 500 in 1978, 1982, and 1988 with his son Davey Allison. In 1972, he was voted National Driver of the Year and was NASCAR Winston Cup champion in 1983. Allison also won the Firecracker 400 in 1982, making him the 4th driver to sweep both Sprint Cup point races at Daytona in the same year. He ran in the Indianapolis 500 twice and made 2 starts in the 1972 Trans Am Series. In 1993, he was elected to the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. In 1987, he was involved in an accident at Talladega, leading to the mandated smaller carburetors and restrictor plates at Daytona and Talladega. Allison won the first Daytona 500 run with restrictor plates in 1988, becoming the oldest driver to win the Daytona 500. Cale Yarborough fight. In the 1979 Daytona 500, Bobby Allison, his brother Donnie, and rival Cale Yarborough tangled early in the race. Donnie led the second half of the race, while Yarborough made up lost laps through caution periods. Bobby was 2 laps down and was a quarter mile ahead of the 2 rivals when Yarborough and Donnie crashed on the final lap. Richard Petty won the race, and Bobby passed the wreckage and stopped to check on his brother. He offered Donnie a ride to the garage area, but Yarborough ran up to Bobby, hitting him in the face with his helmet. Bobby climbed out, and a fistfight broke out, leading to a $6,000 fine each for Yarborough and the Allison brothers. Bobby claimed that he stopped to offer Donnie a ride to the garages and was hit in the face with his helmet, and that he never challenged Cale again. Donnie and Bobby both agreed to disagree, but Cale Yarborough claimed he was forced in the mud by Donnie and had no control. NASCAR later refunded the fines as a reward for bringing NASCAR into national spotlights. Pocono and tragedies. In 1988, Tony Allison crashed in the Miller High Life 500, nearly killing him. He was declared dead but later saved by medical assistance. After a rehab program, he attempted a comeback but was aborted due to tragedies. His son Clifford was injured in a practice crash, and his son Davey died in a helicopter accident. After divorce, he and his wife Judy reconnected and they remained together until 2015. Allison is one of 10 drivers to have won a career Grand Slam by winning the sport's 4 majors. Car owner. Donnie Allison drove his own cars in the early 1970s, winning 6 races as an owner-driver. He split with Roger Penske in 1977 and returned to racing in 1985, joining the Stavela Brothers racing team. In 1990, he revived his team and was a car owner for several drivers, including Mike Alexander, Hutch Strickland, Jimmy Spencer, and DeWright Cope. The team partnered with Ron Zook in 1994 and was sponsored by Mane & Tail in 1995 and 1996. Later life and death. Allison actively promoted rail safety for the CSX Keep On Living campaign with appearances at Talladega and Daytona. On March 6, 2008, his mother, Kitty Allison, died in Charlotte, North Carolina, at the age of 101. On May 23, 2011, Bobby Allison was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Judy Allison, Bobby's wife of 55 years, died December 18, 2015, following complications from surgery. Allison died in Mooresville, North Carolina, on November 9, 2024, at the age of 86. His family announced his death that same day, prior to the NASCAR Xfinity Series championship race.